Hello, this is Brian. Today is Sunday, July 4th, 2021. Happy Independence Day. I am in the San Bernardino National Forest in the far eastern San Gabriel Mountains, just a few miles out of Wrightwood. And I want to provide a spotlight on plants episode. And today's focus is on a relatively rare and narrow endemic variety of a pretty widespread plant. So today my focus is on short joint beavertail cactus. This is Opuntia basilaris variety brachyclada. B-R-A-C-H-Y-C-L-A-D-A. Brachyclada. Basically means short branch in Greek. So, as you heard, part of the common name and part of the botanical name, Opuntia basilaris, beavertail cactus, it is a variety of beavertail cactus. However, it is a very localized variety and looks quite different in many regards. It's basically only found on desert draining slopes of the San Gabriel and I believe the San Bernardino Mountains, and maybe other parts of the transverse ranges. So we are on the desert side of the mountains. We're not quite desert here, but we are just above the high Mojave Desert. We're at an elevation of maybe barely 5,000 feet above sea level. So just like all other species of cactus, it's in its own family, the Cactaceae, the Cactus Family. It is a very low mound-forming perennial plant. So as you see here, if you know what regular beavertail cactus looks like, they look like regular prickly pears, only with smaller pads and much smaller sizes. They have those pretty rounded pads, whereas these are more club-shaped. That's one way to tell the difference between Opuntia basilaris variety basilaris, the original beavertail cactus, and variety brachyclada, which may integrate with one another. I've yet to see it, but I've seen some populations of this plant near here in the Wrightwood area. Some here, and I've seen a population of it over by on an off-trail section of Sheep Creek Wash. So these plants like these dry, sunny slopes. Not surprising. Cactus is usually very well adapted to dry climates. This place is no exception. They can take the full brunt of the sun, and they can look good surviving. However, there are times, very droughtful times, where even the hardiest plants will be challenged. Beavertail cactus is no exception. What a lot of cactus species do is they will look shriveled. In other words, the water tissue, there's not much water tissue in them, and they will tend to shrivel up. And here's an example right here. And you can see, it's all kind of, some of these pads are kind of wrinkled looking. Has to be expected when it's extremely dry. We're in a bad drought right now. We're entering another drought. So common associates of beavertail cactus, very commonly found in the pinyon juniper woodland, or this area it's generally pinyon and Tucker oak woodland. And it's found, I believe, from around around 4,000 feet. I'm not sure if it goes any lower, to I believe up to about 6,000 feet, maybe a little higher. And like the regular beavertail cactus, the plant has strikingly beautiful flowers, and I just missed them. I've been wanting to spotlight this endemic variety for quite a while, because I've always thought these were really cool. I've seen them a good few times already. So there's a little population. I'm going down this little hill right there. That's called Scrub Oak Drive. And then about a half mile up that way is Desert Front Road. So I've been in this area multiple times. It's the first time I've seen beavertail cactus. In this case, short joint beavertail. because I haven't seen any underneath that old growth pinion grove that I a lot of times spend videos chatting about the scenery there. So I'm a little up from it, a little past it now. And this area seems to have a really, really nice population of beavertail. It's all over the place. So these short joint beavertails, short joint meaning, you know, the pads are obviously small. Again, they're more paddle shaped or club shaped as opposed to the typical more rounded pads that other prickly pears, including regular beavertail, has. And again, in the springtime, they get these magenta, brilliantly beautiful flowers. Beavertail cactus has one of the most attractive cactus flowers I've seen personally. And then they turn into these fruits. I'm not sure if they're as fleshy as other prickly pears that are normally edible and they can be considered as delicacies. I'm not sure. I haven't read anything about the edibility of beavertail cactus, but beavertail cactus will form a berry where it previously had flowered. You can see it's developing a berry right now, so at least I can show you what the fruit looks like. Now here a lot of prickly pears don't have extremely high viability. I'm not sure how that applies with short joint beavertail or beavertail cactus in general. But a lot of times the reproduction of this plant is vegetative. What I mean by vegetative is, like with a lot of cactus, a piece of the plant will get broken off a lot of times by something hitting it, an animal brushing it, or a hiker dislodging it, or some other force. So what happens is these pads break off, then they form their own root system. Of course, they're genetically identical to the original plant they came from, because no genetic differences will occur because the plant isn't reproducing by seeds made by pollen from another plant. See, this one seems to have a little bit broader. The pads on this one are a little broader, a little closer to beavertail cactus. But this is still short joint. Beavertail cactus usually gets a little taller than short joint beavertail. So, late spring, mid to late spring, lower you go, the earlier they flower. Provide these beautiful flowers, and I wish I had gotten here sooner to show you, but at least you got to see what the plant looks like, and I'm glad I got to show it off. Short joint beavertail cactus, Opuntia basilaris, variety brachyclada. And that will do it for my Spotlight on Plants video. Hope you found it informative, and hopefully it'll get you to come out and check out this pinyon juniper woodland on the north side of the San Gabriels. Check out that plant for yourself. It's definitely worth it. It's worth braving this 90-degree heat. Well, thanks for watching, and I will see you on another episode of Spotlight on Plants.